Some shifts are so quiet, you almost miss them until the space around you feels different. The days after the full moon carry a strange pull, not forward, not backward, sideways, away from certain people, places, and habits. It's not chaos, it's precision. Nature moves you like water finding its true path. On August 11th, this current grows stronger. You may notice conversations that once felt easy now feel heavy. Rooms you used to enter with comfort now feel foreign. The truth is, the full moon does more than brighten the night sky. It turns its light inward, revealing what no longer fits. This is not superstition. For centuries, monks, healers, and even early astronomers observed how the moon's gravitational and energetic influence stirs the subtle layers of the mind. In the days after its peak, people have reported sharper intuition, heightened restlessness, and a sudden need for solitude. Today, I will take you deeper. We will explore why, during this post-full moon window, you're being guided away from others. We'll draw from Shaolin discipline, ancient meditation principles, and the less spoken truths about human energy cycles. You will learn how to recognize the signs, how to protect your inner clarity, and how to transform this pull into a moment of personal mastery. Stay with me until the end, because I will share a practice rarely taught outside monastery walls, a way to anchor yourself so this shift becomes a source of strength, not confusion. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, and this is your space to cultivate clarity, discipline, and inner power. If you value the art of self-mastery and the wisdom of ancient teachings, subscribe now and let's walk this path together. A mind is like a garden, what you water grows, what you neglect fades. In the Shaolin way, this is the first step to mastery, learning where to place your attention, not letting it scatter like seeds thrown into the wind, but guiding it with purpose. After the full moon, the world around you hasn't changed much, yet something inside feels different. The bright pull of outer noise begins to lose its grip. You notice the colors, the sounds, even the laughter that once held you now feel muted, distant. This is not isolation, it is the mind turning its gaze inward. When the moon reaches fullness, it amplifies what is already there. Just as the tide swells under its light, so do the tides within your own awareness. If you have been neglecting the quiet work of self-observation, the days after can feel restless, even uncomfortable. But if you have been listening, this is when subtle truths rise to the surface. I have seen students grow uneasy when this happens. They think they are losing something, a friendship, a community, a shared rhythm. But more often, they are simply feeling the weight of connections built on the surface. Without judgment, those ties start to loosen. You don't push them away, they fall away, like leaves in autumn. Attention is energy. When it flows toward drains you, you weaken. When it flows inward toward practice, stillness, and the present moment, you gather strength. Post-full moon, nature itself lends you this opportunity. The pull you feel is not a rejection of the world. It is the world's invitation for you to sit in the center of your own life, without distraction. Here, the work of mastery begins. There's a common mistake people make when they hear the word discipline. They think it means adding more effort, more tasks, more control. But in the Shaolin tradition, discipline is not about piling on. It is about stripping away, returning again and again to what truly matters. When life begins to pull you away from certain people or situations, the first instinct is often resistance. You wonder what went wrong, or whether you failed in some way. But ancient wisdom sees it differently. In the same way a craftsman sharpens a blade, life removes the excess, the dull edges, the parts that do not serve the blade's purpose. Refinement is a slow process. In training, a monk might repeat the same movement for months, not to perfect the form for others to see, but to carve away what is unnecessary: tension in the shoulders, wasted motion, distracted thought. This is no different from what happens within you when connections fall away. The absence is not punishment, it is precision. In solitude, the noise of other people's desires and fears begins to fade. What remains is your own breath, your own center, your own truth. That's where discipline lives, in the quiet decision to keep returning to your core. no matter how many times the world tempts you to drift. To be refined means you are becoming more essential, more aligned, more yourself. It is the art of living with less clutter, both inside and out. And though it can feel like loss, it is in truth the making of something stronger, something that will hold its edge through the storms to come. Before harmony can be restored, imbalance must be seen. This is one of the harder truths to accept, that discomfort is often the first sign of healing. Disconnection, whether from people, routines, or even parts of yourself, is rarely random. It points like a compass toward what is not yet steady inside. In the monastery, the path to balance begins not with adding calm, but with identifying the source of unrest. A student might think their weakness is physical, yet the teacher notices it is the mind that tires first. Another may appear strong in body and mind, but their heart is restless, pulled by old attachments. Until these are acknowledged, true harmony remains out of reach. Life offers the same lessons outside monastery walls. When a relationship suddenly feels heavy, it may be showing you where emotional boundaries are unclear. When work drains you beyond reason, it may be revealing a mental imbalance, too much striving, not enough presence. And when you feel spiritually disconnected, it may be because your daily actions no longer reflect your deeper values. Disconnection can sting because it removes what felt familiar. But in its absence, you are given a mirror. You begin to see where your steps have wandered from the path. The purpose is not to shame you, but to guide you back. In this way, imbalance is not an enemy, it is a messenger. It comes to show you what must be realigned so that all parts of you can move together. When mind, body, and spirit share the same rhythm, there is no need to force harmony. It arises on its own, as naturally as the moon returns to fullness after darkness. There is strength that can lift a stone, and there is strength that can carry silence. The latter is what Yi Jing Jing and Nigeng cultivate. These ancient practices do not shout their power, they build it quietly, deep within the body's core. In the training halls, movements are slow and deliberate. Muscles lengthen, tendons strengthen, breath flows without strain. With each repetition, tension melts from the joints and the breath finds its natural rhythm. The mind follows, softening its grip on scattered thoughts. This is not simply exercise. It is a conversation between body and spirit, one that deepens with time. Ji Jing Jing reshapes the body from within, cleansing stagnation and awakening energy pathways. Neigong, the internal work, takes this further, cultivating awareness of the life force that moves through you. When practiced with patience, both form a foundation so steady that life's shifting currents cannot easily pull you off balance. Relationships, like seasons, change. Some arrive with warmth and growth, others leave with quiet endings. Without an anchored center, these changes can toss you between attachment and loss. But when your body and breath are aligned, your energy becomes like a rooted tree, flexible in the wind, yet unmoved at the core. The true gift of these practices is not just physical resilience, but clarity. You learn to feel the difference between what stirs your spirit and what drains it. You begin to move through the world with a steady presence, unshaken by the ebb and flow of others. And when the time comes to let go, you can do so with grace, because your strength no longer depends on what stays or leaves. It rests quietly within you, waiting like a deep reservoir for whatever the next season brings. There is a freshness that comes only when we set aside what we think we know. The beginner's mind is not about ignorance. It is about meeting each moment without the weight of old conclusions. It is the ability to see the familiar as if for the first time. In solitude, this becomes a rare opportunity. Without the constant reflection of other people's words, opinions, and expectations, the mind begins to breathe differently. The silence is not empty, it is spacious. In that space, you may notice small details you overlooked before. The way your thoughts form, the subtle patterns in your breath, the sensations in your body as the day unfolds. Breaking away from others can feel like being set adrift, but it can also be a return to shore, the shore of your own awareness. When a monk trains alone, each movement becomes its own teacher. There is no need for applause or correction from outside. The lesson is in the act itself. This same principle lives in the beginner's mind, the willingness to learn without seeking validation. Approaching life this way opens hidden doors. A walk becomes more than a walk. It becomes a study of rhythm and balance. A single sip of tea becomes a meditation on warmth, scent, and taste. These are not distractions. They are reminders that mastery begins with attention to the smallest things. When connections fall away, it is not always loss. Sometimes it is an invitation to step back into this beginner's way of seeing, to return to curiosity, to rediscover not just the world but yourself, free from the layers you've collected and ready to meet the path ahead as if it were brand new. There are moments when life feels as if it has stepped back from you, allowing you to see yourself from a distance. The days after a full moon often carry that quality. It's as if the light has shifted inward, casting shadows on patterns you couldn't see before. In this space, you may notice how certain situations always pull the same reaction from you, how particular words ignite anger or sadness, how familiar doubts rise at the same points in your journey. It is like sitting in a quiet theater, watching a film you've seen many times, only now you are not swept into the story. You see the scenes, the choices, the endings, and you recognize the script for what it is. Ancient practice values this kind of observation. In meditation halls, students are taught to notice the passing of thoughts without grabbing onto them, the way clouds drift across the sky. This is not detachment in the cold sense. It is awareness, a way to understand the machinery of the mind. When you can see the pattern, you are no longer bound to repeat it. Post-full moon energy makes this process sharper. The heightened sensitivity it brings can reveal what has been running quietly in the background. And in that clarity, you begin to sense a shift, not just in how you act, but in who you are ready to become. Without the noise of constant interaction, without the weight of others' expectations, the choices before you stand out more clearly. You are no longer guessing at the next step, you are selecting it with precision, and with each step, you shape a self that is not built from habit, but from conscious, deliberate presence. In the Shaolin way, there is a deep respect for what comes and goes. Nothing is truly owned, not even the moments we cherish most. To hold tightly to what is not ours is to invite suffering. Letting go, though it may sting, is a form of training, one that shapes the spirit as much as physical practice shapes the body. A monk once compared it to standing in a river. If you try to grasp the water, it slips away, leaving your hands empty. But if you simply stand, feeling its flow, you remain steady while the river moves on. In life, people, opportunities, and circumstances flow past in the same way. Some stay a while, others pass quickly. None can be kept by force. Losing a connection can feel like a fracture in the heart. Yet in the discipline of release, something else grows. Each time you let go with grace, your roots sink deeper into the ground of your own being. You begin to draw strength not from what surrounds you, but from within. This is not cold detachment. It is trust. Trust that what departs has fulfilled its purpose, and that what is meant to remain will do so without your grip. In Shaolin training, a weapon is released as fluidly as it is taken up. The warrior's skill lies not in clinging, but in readiness for the next movement. Each release leaves you lighter, more balanced, more aware of your own center. With time, you find that the ground beneath you is not shaken by what comes or goes. It is firm, steady, and unyielding, because it no longer depends on the ever-changing tides of the world. There is a tide that moves within us, as real as the tide that shifts the sea. Around the time of a full moon, this inner tide often rises. Some dismiss it as imagination, others feel its pull so strongly it shapes their nights and days. Science measures in data and debate, but spiritual traditions have long watched these cycles with quiet certainty. In temples and mountain retreats, the full moon is not a spectacle but a signal. It marks a time when emotions can swell like water under a strong wind. Old memories may surface, restlessness may stir, and the mind may search for something outside to hold on to. This is where the path of mastery takes a different turn. Instead of chasing reassurance from others, the discipline is to turn that heightened energy inward. The pull you feel can be used to sit more deeply in meditation, to slow the breath, to listen with greater care to the body's signals. Just as a skilled martial artist redirects the force of an opponent, you can redirect the force of this inner tide. When you stop looking outward for balance, you begin to sense a reservoir within. The same energy that could drive impulsive action becomes fuel for stillness. In that stillness, clarity rises. You see your thoughts more clearly, your emotions more honestly, your intentions more sharply. The moon will wane and the tide will settle, but the strength you build in these moments remains. Each cycle offers the same choice: to be swept in search of comfort, or to anchor yourself in the quiet power that grows when you face the wave and stand your ground. When the moon reaches its fullest light, the world feels a little more awake. Some notice it in restless sleep, others in sharper emotions or unexpected memories rising to the surface. Spiritual traditions see these moments not as distractions but as openings, times when the mind and spirit are more receptive to guidance. In these days, the simplest rituals become powerful. A period of quiet meditation allows the mind to settle, like a pond clearing after a stone has been thrown. Breathwork slows the racing current of thoughts, reconnecting you with the steady rhythm beneath all fluctuations. Mindful journaling turns your attention inward, translating the unspoken into words, helping you see patterns and truths that might otherwise slip away unnoticed. These practices are not about escape, they are anchors. When relationships shift or emotions swell, they keep you from being carried off by the current. The Shaolin Way teaches that stability is not found in resisting change, but in holding a steady center while change moves around you. Even a few minutes of these rituals each day during the moon's peak can shift your path. A single deep breath taken with awareness can soften tension. One page of honest writing can untangle a knot in the mind. A few moments of stillness can remind you that peace is not something you wait for, it is something you return to. In the brightness of the full moon, everything may seem louder and closer. Yet with these simple practices, you create space around yourself. Space where clarity can take root. And in that space, you grow, not by reacting to every ripple, but by standing calm in the quiet center of the tide. Sometimes what feels like being torn away is actually being shaped. The quiet moments of separation are not endings but beginnings in disguise. Like the blacksmith who heats metal until it softens, then hammers it into its true form, life uses these breaks to refine the soul. Many cling to what is familiar, even when those connections no longer nourish them. The discomfort of distance can make us question ourselves, wonder if we have lost something vital. But in truth, what falls away is often the surface, the relationships, habits, and stories that no longer reflect the deeper person you are becoming. This process is not accidental. It is a necessary part of mastery. Mind, body, and spirit are not separate things. They are threads woven into a single fabric. When superficial ties begin to loosen, the fabric pulls tighter around what truly matters. The edges may fray, but the center grows stronger. The wisdom of the ancients teaches that true wholeness is not about holding everything close. It is about discerning what deserves your energy and what does not. It is the courage to step back from what distracts, even when it is painful, so that your attention can settle fully on the path ahead. In the space left behind by separation, there is room to breathe, to listen, and to grow. It is here that the alchemy of self-mastery happens, not by adding more, but by refining, by letting go, by becoming whole in the stillness. The journey is quiet but profound. Each release, each step away is a quiet forging, shaping a self that is not fragmented by the world but unified within itself. August 11th is more than just a date. It marks a moment in your journey, a turning point where the full moon's light invites you to turn inward. This isn't about losing connection, it's about finding clarity. Shaolin wisdom reminds us that the pull you feel is a signal, a chance to see what no longer fits in your life and to gently release it. Silence isn't emptiness, it's the sharp edge that cuts away distraction and reveals what truly matters. When you embrace this inward turning with mindfulness and discipline, you begin to build a stronger foundation, one rooted in your own presence and purpose. Take this energy as an invitation. Let it guide you to cultivate stillness in your daily life, to notice when your attention drifts, and to return steadily to what grounds you. With each small practice, you deepen your mastery, not by force, but through quiet, consistent care. Remember, disconnection is not a loss, but a space where new growth begins. Let that space hold your clarity, your strength, and your path forward. If this message resonates, join us on Shaolin Soulfire, where we explore ancient wisdom for modern mastery. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and walk this path with us. Peace and strength to you.